What's going on, fam? It's your man, Dr. Will, and you guys know the deal. Let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Even if you're watching this on the replay, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. I'm here in the beautiful city of Phoenix, Arizona, where God vacations. Even in 113-degree weather, God is still here. So go ahead and let me know what city, what state, what country you're chiming in from. I just always love to know where my online family is chiming in from. So go ahead and drop that in the comments, what city, what state, what country. I want to come and talk to you guys about building a brand with your book, building a brand with your book. So if you've been thinking about writing a book, dreaming about writing a book, wishing to write a book, this is the video for you. So you want to make sure that you chime in and stay plugged in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Will. I'm an international speaker here recently. Recognized as one of the top 30 motivational speakers in the world. I've written over 50 books in my life. 35 of those books have been bestsellers. So I know a little something about writing books, and I know something about building your brand with a book. I am also the founder of Genius Speakers Academy. This is an academy for serious and committed speakers that want to amplify their voice, that want to build their business, their bank account, and their brand. And so today I want to talk to you about writing a book, but not just writing any type of book, because there's a lot of people who write books and then they just sit on the shelves. So I want to talk to you today about writing the right type of book and the type of book that can build your brand. So real quickly, I'm curious if you've ever written a book. In the comments, I want you to type in the word author. If you've written a book already, I want you to type in the word author. And then if you haven't written a book, but you want to, I want you to type in want to, right? If you want to, if you haven't written a book yet, but you want to, in the chat, type in want to. If you've already written a book and you're author already, congratulations, write in the comments, author. So here's the deal, guys. When you're writing your book, I'm going to give you some principles that I want you to think about, and I'm going to share some information that I want you to think about maybe in writing your first book or your next book. If you haven't had major success in book sales, this is probably the reason why is this idea I'm getting ready to share with you. When you get ready to write your book, I want you to think about not what you want to say, but I want you to think about what the audience needs to hear. Let me say that again. When you're getting ready to write your book, I want you to think about not what you want to say, but what does your audience want to hear? A lot of times we're writing books and sharing information that people don't care about. You know, here's the deal. Everybody wants to know what's in it for me. What's in it for me? So even in your book, you got to answer that question, right? What's in it for the end user? When they read your book, what is the emotion? What is the feeling that they're going to walk away with? That's what you want to be thinking about. What's the information? How is their life going to be better after reading your book? How is their life going to be better after reading your book? So when you talk about writing your book and you're thinking about writing your book, I want you to think about that, because we don't want to just write a book that your mom's going to read and your sister's going to read. We want to write a book that the world is going to read. 12 years ago, I was blessed to write this book called Genius Potential. And this is a book that I call my signature book. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write that down. Write the word, phrase, signature book. So if you're going to build a business, if you're going to build a brand, then you need a signature book. As a speaker, your signature book is going to be filled with your philosophy. What is your dominating philosophy? You want to teach people what is your dominating philosophy. And what your book is going to do is extend the conversation. See, when I get on the stage, usually I have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, up to 60 minutes. There's no way that I can give the audience everything. There's no way I can give them everything. So when you write a book is extending the conversation. It's going deeper into the philosophy that you just talked about. It's going deeper into the ideas that you just shared on stage, right? It's going deeper. So as a speaker, if you are a speaker and you don't have what I call your signature book should be in alignment with your signature keynote, right? Your signature book should be in alignment with your signature keynote, and it should be an extension of your ideas. It should be an extension of your philosophy, and then it should share your unique language. It should share your unique language. So when I wrote this book, Genius Potential, over 10 years ago, this book has allowed me to travel the world to over 60 different countries. This book has been translated, I believe, in 6 different languages already, and it's being read all around the world. And let me tell you a bonus about a book. I call a book the gift that just keeps on giving. I wrote this book 12 years ago, and today people are still buying this book. People are still investing in this. I was trying to see when I actually wrote it. When did I write this? This is back in 2011. 2011, I wrote this book, right? And this is what I call the gift that keeps on giving, because I wrote this book one time. And it's been selling for over a decade. That's why I love books. And that's why I love using books to build my brand and build my business. But you want to make sure that you're writing the right type of book. So signature, you want to have a signature book. So when I was writing this book, I have a philosophy. For those of you who follow me, I have a philosophy, and it's called Genius Potential. I believe that everybody has genius potential on the inside of them. But there's 3 things that has to happen. Number 1, you got to discover that genius potential. Number 2, you got to develop that genius potential. And number 3, you have to release that genius potential into the world. You got to share your genius with other people. So when I wrote this, I wanted to expand on that idea. Number 1, that everybody has genius on the inside of them. I believe each and every individual has something they can offer to the world. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to be on the cover of Forbes magazine or you're going to be on the cover of Times magazine. Your shine could be just in supporting someone, maybe supporting a community organization or a nonprofit. It's not about being a superstar or anything like that. But when you think about the word genius, genius simply means that you have a natural ability. And each of us have a natural ability. Your natural ability could be organizing. So you partnering with a visionary that has a vision, and you help that individual organize those ideas. You help that individual organize events. That could be your genius. In the book, I talk about everyday geniuses, people that you probably never heard about, but in their niche, in their arena, they are geniuses. You know, one of the individuals I talk about, he is known in Hollywood as a genius as a makeup artist. So you remember that movie, Miss Doubtfire? And then you remember Martin Lawrence when he played Big Mama? Well, this individual is the one that does that makeup. And in that industry in Hollywood, he's known as the best there is. He's a genius. That's his genius potential. but he had to develop that genius potential. And then he put his genius in an environment where he could release it. And so when I wrote this book over 10 years ago, I built my whole brand. I told you earlier, I'm the founder of Genius Speakers Academy. I have a Facebook community called Genius Nation. I built my whole brand around this word genius. I built my whole brand around this word genius. And that's what you want to do. So you don't want to just write any old type of book. You want to write a book that people can attach to, that you can turn it into a brand and you can turn it into a movement. I want to share with you a couple of popular books that have been turned into brands and turned into movements. How many of you are familiar with this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? I absolutely love this book, not only because it's an amazing book, but I love what the brand has been able to do over the years. This book, I don't know, it was written back in like 1920, and it has so many different variations of it. Remember, I told you that Think and Grow Rich. Remember, I told you that writing a book is the gift that keeps on giving. And I'm going to show you in this example. This particular version of the book was written back in 1960. But I want to show you how many variations of this one book has been written. Now, it says up here, this book could be worth $1 million to you. That is one version. But then let me show you this. They came out with another version of it, the Think and Grow Rich, the 21st Century Edition. They have the Think and Grow Rich original version, restored and revised, right? They have this edition, the Think and Grow Rich. More than 7 million readers have made this book one of the greatest bestsellers of all time. This is the same book. It's the same book. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And then the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich autographed version of this book. And then my mentor was able to partner with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, and he wrote Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. So as you can see, this one book has become a brand and a business. As a matter of fact, two things. Number one, every January, I read this book. For the last 15 years, I've read this book. For the last 15 years, every January, I read this book. That's the first book of the year I read. And then twice a year, I'm a part of a mastermind, and we go through this book. So not only is it a book, it's become a mastermind. It's become a movement. It's become a movie, the Think and Grow Rich. There's a movie, Think and Grow Rich. And this is all off of just one book. This is just all off of one book. It's turned into a movement. It's turned into a movie. It's turned into a mastermind. That's the power of when you write your signature book. So Napoleon Hill has other books, but this was his signature book, Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich was his signature book. Here's another book that I love. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. I love this book. This is another book that I read every year, but it's become a brand, a business, and a movement. And look at the different variations of the book. Here's another variation of the book. Here's another variation of the book. And so here's one book, 3 different variations that you can do. Let me show you the last one here. How many of you are familiar with Chicken Soup for the Soul? How many of you are familiar with Chicken Soup for the Soul? Chicken Soup for the Soul has become a brand, it's a business, and it's a movement. It's a brand, it's a business, and it's a movement. So that's what I want you to be able to do with your book. That's what I want you to be able to do with your book. This is why I love books. This is why I love books, because books can take you in so many different arenas. I want you to think about all the famous celebrities that are writing books. Why do you think they're writing books? They're already famous. They're already millionaires. Why do you think they would write a book? It's some magic about a book. It's some magic about saying, I'm an author. out of the 8 billion people on the planet, there's only a small collective group of us that can say that we are authors. There's only out of the 8 billion people on the planet, there's very few authors. Very few authors. And so I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of it. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to be working with 10. I'm going to be working with 10 authors or brand new authors, whether you've already written a book or you want to write a book. I'm going to be working with 10 authors, and I'm going to teach you how to write the book that can turn into a movement. That can turn into a movement. This one book written over a decade ago has taken me all around the world, has allowed me to build out my speaker business, has allowed me to start our academy and train other speakers. I've helped over 300 authors write their signature book. And I want to help you, but not only write a book. The thing that's going to be different with this is I'm going to be teaching you my 4-phase principle of writing a book that creates a brand and creates a movement. And we're going to go deep into them in these sessions as I'm coaching you. I'm going to talk about how to create the right message, how to market your book, what method you should follow, and then how you can monetize that book. This book, once again, just off book sales, every day, almost somebody somewhere is buying this book. That's just one stream. That's just one stream. And to be honest with you, I'm going to share with you, listen, when somebody buys your book, that's not even the biggest deal. I'm going to teach you how to use this book to get more clients. If you're a speaker, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, I'm going to teach you how to use this book to lock in more revenue, not just from book sales, but I'm going to teach you my 12 revenue wheel cycle for books. Like literally, there's 12 different ways I've identified that you can monetize your book. So I'm going to be working with 10 individuals. I'm going to be working with only 10 individuals. The coaching is going to start in September. Go over to drwillspeaks.com/BBF. That stands for banking on books, right? And so my bank on books formula, BBF, bank on books formula. But go to drwillspeaks.com/BBF. Get one of the 10 slots, because literally, if you've been thinking about writing a book, or you said, man, I wrote a book, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do, I promise you, it's because you didn't have a strategy behind it. I'm going to teach you how to put a strategy behind your book so it can become a movement, so you can create community. And I'm telling you, we're going to go so deep in this. So I'm going to share some things with you that you've never thought about as it relates to writing your book. Once again, I told you, I've written over 50 books. I know a little something about writing a book. I know a little something about marketing a book. I know how to put the messaging in place so you can stand out from the crowd and you can be the expert in your niche. So listen, go over to drwillspeaks.com/BBF. Get one of the 10 spots. Don't miss out. I'm telling you, this training, this coaching, this time that we're going to invest together in this group coaching is going to be phenomenal. It's literally going to be phenomenal. Books are the gift that keeps on giving. I want to teach you literally how to write a book that will change your life. All right, guys, I hope this helped you out. Look forward to you being a part of the program. Go lock your spot in right now. Don't delay. I haven't even put this out to our list yet, our mailing list. I'm getting ready to put it out to our mailing list. I know it's going to sell out. All our programs sell out. So I'm giving you, my Facebook audience, an opportunity to hop on it first before I even send it to my list. We're going to be sending it to the list, I think, on Monday. So you have today and a couple other days to get in there, lock it in, because once they're gone, they're gone. I can only work with 10 people. So make sure you're one of those 10 people. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.